I have to implement that question every time now. I asked Marty the Meat Man, do the Celtics retire Marcus Smart's number 36? We should get into that conversation right now. Right now. What are we doing? What do we should do that? What I'll ask you guys this question. Should the Boston Celtics retire Marcus Smart's number 36? And does this addition to the Lakers roster do anything to that?
You want to start off, Daniel?
I think, oh man, because of how many years he's played, I can see the argument there. But I think if we had just beat that Warriors team in 2022, I would immediately say yes. If we beat that Warriors team and won that ring that year in 2022, I would have said yes immediately. But because we didn't, and because he's still without a ring in Boston, I don't know. It's like a 50. It's more of a 60-40. I do think he should get retired, but I see the argument for the other side, where despite the years he played, despite the DPOY trophy that he has, without a ring, there's not much to validate, I guess, his retirement or the retirement of the number 36. So I don't know.
Well, I got to say first, but before you go, Griffin, here, I understand the ring validating players, right? Because, I mean, let's face it, every player on the 24 Celtics has been immortalized within Celtic Nation. I mean, Drew and KP, they're shipped out. I mean, they're Celtics for life. They're Celtics for life. Anytime they come back to the TD Garden, they're getting a standing ovation.
No.
2 games though, right? 2 games. Marcus Smart. I'll look this up real quick as I'm talking here, but Marcus Smart played a lot of games with the Boston Celtics. All right, a lot of games, and 2 games, right? They were 2 games away from the ring in 2022. The Celtics were against the Warriors, and you could say not even 2 games, but just a couple minutes there in Game 4. I mean, if the Celtics close out Game 4, I actually watched a little bit of that game last night, or rather this morning, earlier this morning, and it is pretty gut wrenching. But the Celtics, right? They housed Marcus Smart for 9 seasons. Marcus Smart played 581 games for the Celtics in the regular season, and in the playoffs played 108 games, right? And Marcus Smart has not played an NBA playoff game since 2023, which is pretty astonishing, right? He's a playoff player. But in his entirety, 108 games in the playoffs, and then 581 games in the regular season. Am I supposed to sit back and say the 2 games the Celtics didn't win in the 2022 NBA Finals should stand between Marcus Smart and a jersey retirement with the Celtics? I feel like those. This is where the ring culture conversation comes into all this. Is are we putting a little bit? Are we putting a little bit too much value on the rings? Because again, 581 games in the regular season, 108 games in the playoffs. That's a huge sample size. That's a lot. I mean, that's 9 years worth of games. And Marcus Smart, I mean, he gave his blood, sweat, and tears to the Celtics in those 9 years. And ultimately, what? That's 689 games, right? 689 games that he played with the Celtics. And I'm supposed to say 2 wins stood between him and a jersey retirement. I think there's more of a debate than people realize when it comes to his jersey retirement, because one defensive player of the year, if you really look back at the history of the Celtics, he was a huge part of the Celtics in those 9 years leading up to the title. And that is what is just so it's I don't know what the I mean, I've been using gut wrenching in the entire time, but that is just the it paints the picture of life is not always fair, right, folks? Life is not always fair. Marcus Smart should have basked in the glory of that championship. I mean, he deserved that championship with the Celtics, yet was traded for the final piece of the championship roster. And it's almost as if the 9 years before that are a little forgotten now. They're a little forgotten. People like to remember the championship squad, but they forget all of the years beforehand when Marcus Smart was there making a legitimate impact. And I got to say, the amount of games he's played with the Celtics, I think there's certainly an argument there. But Griffin, what do you think about that?
Well, I look at this. If the Celtics keep retiring all these jersey numbers, they're not going to have any damn jerseys to give out. We're going to see a lot.
Would you feel comfortable with anybody wearing 36 with the Celtics?
That was my
It
thing,
seems
though.
a little weird.
It's like but Isaiah Thomas. I mean, people were like Drew Holiday, but
Well, I'll bring this up. You know, I don't know if this player is going to wear this number or not, but Anthony Simons, is he going to take the number 4?
I wonder. But it's like this though. It's like, all right, do I see anyone wearing 36? No. So it's like, all right, whatever. But at the same time, I want to brush up the argument more. So do I see him playing for the Celtics again? Yes. I see him. If anything, I feel like by the end of his career, he will sign a 1-day contract with the Boston Celtics. You see that happening a lot in Massachusetts culture, Boston culture, obviously with Tom Brady doing that, and you've had several other, Chara, I think it was, yeah, Chara for
Daniel
the Bruins,
Chara, yeah.
yeah, Bruins doing that. You've seen so many, you know, Boston people come back and sign that 1-day contract. So I feel like if we don't ever see a Marcus Smart return on the court, we'll see a 1-day contract potentially. So he could
Like a Paul Pierce.
Celtic. Yeah, like a Paul Pierce, So I see that coming more. But I look at this. I feel like, yes, he had such a strong impact on the Boston Celtics. And I look at this, it's definitely hard to say yes, he does. And at the same time, it's like it's so hard to say no, he doesn't. I feel like this, depending on where his career turns out, because he's 31 years old and he's been battling with injuries recently. If he has a rocky finish to his career, could I potentially see the Celtics say, all right, we go with a jersey retirement? And again, what he said earlier was kind of like, could we get him on a vet minimum when, like the team's back and all ready and have more history with Marcus Smart? Then potentially I could see yes. But if he starts having more success elsewhere, for example, for example, if he has some success with the Lakers, I feel like the Celtics are going to be more like, oh, why are we going to give this Laker credit? Because, it could possibly be the Mookie Betts route. Now, for all the baseball fans out there, Mookie Betts had such history with the Boston Celtics. I mean, Boston Red Sox, my bad. I'm on Celtics mode. But he won a World Series, an MVP with the Red Sox. Does Mookie Betts get his jersey retired for the Red Sox? No, because look, he's had more success with the Dodgers. Now, I know he's had more time with the Dodgers and he was younger. However, Marcus Smart, it depends on his final resume. If he comes back with Boston and has more history, I could totally see them putting his number in the rafters. But, if he starts having success elsewhere, then it's like the chances just keep going lower and lower and lower.
The difference between Mookie Betts and Marcus Smart,
there's a lot of differences.
I mean, there are a lot of differences, but the difference between them specifically, some of the key differences is, number one, the rings. I mean, Mookie Betts did win a ring with the Red Sox, so you have that, but then you almost have the cancelization of that with 2 rings coming with the Dodgers, right? In 2020 and 2024.
If they never built him though to be the superstar that he was, then he would never have 2 other rings.
But as of this season, Mookie Betts has played as many seasons with the Dodgers as the Red Sox. So 6 years with the Red Sox, 6 years with the Dodgers. As for Marcus Smart, he has 9 years with the Celtics. Do we think he's going to be with the Lakers for 9 years? Realistically, the Lakers, let's face it. I mean, Marcus Smart, I would love to see him have success in Los Angeles, but Los Angeles, it's usually a pit stop for a lot of players. I mean, think about how many players have made their way through the Lakers the last couple of years. Dennis Schroeder, we got Malik Beasley, we have so many different players out there who have just made a little pit stop in LA, and they're on to other ventures elsewhere. I mean, we see that all the time. D'Angelo Russell back to the Lakers. I mean, the list can go on and on and on with players just making a small little pit stop in Los Angeles and then moving on. That's where, some Celtic fans probably have the hope of, well, this might be a 1-2 year pit stop for Marcus Smart, and then he's shipped maybe back up to Boston. That could be a possibility.